The chime of the bell beckons us into a sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation to join us in meaningful worship and in service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honrando.
Thank you all. It's great for me to be back with you again 2 weeks in a row. Lucky me. Our opening reading this morning for Call to Worship is from Maria Mitchell, professor and Unitarian Universalist.
Please join me in reading the words to our congregational covenant printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant. We covenant.
But right now, before I go, I have to Taylor. As you go, as you go.
Thank you, Dr. Rock. I want to open our time for meditation with a reading, a poem by a colleague who is no longer with us, Dorothy Baruch, who briefly served a congregation I served in Massachusetts. It's called Divinity, Reach Beyond Myself. Not knowing, I am the hoping, and all that is within it. And I bless the holy grace by which all of us live, and all things are living. Dorothy Baruch. I would invite us to share some moments of embracing meditation, some time of silence, and then we will ask for those who have others on their hearts this morning, names they would like to speak into this embracing congregation. And first, meditation, prayer, silence. And now we invite those who have names on their hearts to share into this embracing congregation. If we could respond together to the words that are in your words. This is
Filled with grace, this is my prayer. This is my us through our journey.
Offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist.
We prioritize the menor obtaining program. We have an entrepreneurship program where they learn how to make t-shirts, hats, and how to create logos and make their own clothing brand, as well as a work to $3,000. It's actually $3,600, but they get taxes taken. To any other post-secondary education opportunity that they want, and that's through our partnership with the team has been through our work-based learning program. They become law-abiding citizens. We take a look at their probation of the 15 that have successfully completed their GED. The GED program, and as I aforementioned, we only had 3 to recidivate. So we really do appreciate their thinking. Is another thing to also do activities with them because we know that they're young adults. And so we went to the movies, and next week we're actually going go-kart racing. So again, it's to get them something to do during the summer so that we can keep them from being available to go do things that are negative to engage in crime and or violent behavior. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you, Carlton, for giving us your time and telling us about the Forgotten Third. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service. Next to the name of the shared offering recipient, live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask you to give
the order of service. We have another shade.
Community by Douglas Taylor.
Lean on me. I think some of you might know the words to this. Please lean on me. I think some of you might know the words to this. Please rise and bow your spirit and join tomorrow. Lean on me. I won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody to lean on.
First thing I need to do is to acknowledge that I'm leaning on these folks on the stage here, and Joe, and volunteers, and the staff who are not in the room right. All of them are bringing forth. Well, he suggested I might go ahead with the question box coming up here, but I wasn't secure with that. I have never felt equipped to try to answer questions on the fly in front of 200 or 300 people. I just don't do that. I'm sure with his doctoral exam, he probably felt that he was open to the Inquisition, and he would usually do to find a Sermons of Independence Day would be to refer to July 14 as an event, as a possibility, and the calendar. Who seemed to know that today is also the commemoration of the formation of the independent country of Belgium. And today I wore the colors of their flag, black, yellow, and green. Their stripes, they're vertical. But it turns out that there are folks celebrating by having waffles and Belgian frites right now while they're watching parades in Brussels and Liège and other towns in Belgium. The territory that we now recognize as the modern country, Belgium, was of course ruled by the French during the time of Napoleon, because he ruled everything in Europe. But upon his defeat at Waterloo, which I think is in the Belgian territory, in 1815, the southern territory of French-speaking Catholics was consolidated with the northern Dutch speakers under the rule of the Dutch king, a Protestant. But that did not end the ambitions of the new French king, Charles I, to reclaim the Walloon region dominated by French speakers. But on the death of the French king, I think it's Charles I, during the fall of 1830, a coalition of dissident Belgians from both the northern and southern and eastern edges of Belgium led a brief war of separation and independence from the kings of both Netherlands and France. And so in short order, military efforts were successful without an equivalent figure like our own George Washington. They could find nobody who seemed appropriate in Belgium. So he happened to be an uncle of Queen Victoria. So at one time we know that all of Europe was ruled by children or relatives of Queen Victoria. And this of our country during the time of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution which followed. Our own founding fathers knew that each of the original colonies which were settled and formed by the British through various investment schemes, had always seen themselves as states independent of others. And so only external forces, especially the forces of the various insurrections and other internal strife, which was followed by the Civil War to prove their interdependence, could have extinguished their so-called independence. The affirmation of the Union itself in the Civil War was a profound example of that essential truth. And so as we think about it, the adjective united thereby reflected the interdependence of their otherwise weaker and historically and potentially permanently warring neighbors with each other. To change a little bit, many years ago when I was an undergraduate at the Institute on Main Street, now recognized as a university, for a globalist like me called International to maximize mutual benefits across national and regional borders. Briefly, not to take it on a dissertation, those regions and nations which have natural resources like Texas oil, or water, or climate, or fertile soils, or other minerals, or, as in South Africa, diamonds, should be able to leverage those resources by open market exchange with nations which have a surplus of other under-resourced but overpopulated areas is extremely cheap. So in 1,000 years, as long as everybody is treated fairly. But in both the 19th and early 20th century, according to my professor, whenever new forms of protectionism or embargoes or other barriers to free trade become excessive, worldwide economic dislocations were bound to ensue, often resulting in deep recession, depression, and sometimes wars. This appears to have happened at least once or twice in each successive generation over the past 2 centuries, as the ruling classes of certain nations seem to forget the reality of economic consequences of what are essentially